Hello everybody, my name is Alberto and I'm currently developing a turn-based strategy game using the Unity engine. It's been a while since the last update, but today I come with a big update in visuals, in the UI and in the gameplay. Regarding the visuals, you can see that the whole hexagonal grid has been updated. Regarding the terrain, we can see that now we have a much better looking mountains, keeping the low poly style. We also have updated the shader for the water to have this movement, but in a polygonal style. If we look at the bases, we have also upgraded the model as well as for the neutral bases. And now the background has also a theme. And this comes with an announcement, which is going to be the name that we are going to give to this project, which is not going to be the final name of the game, but is the name we're going to use during the development process, and it's going to be Table Tactics. The idea of the name is not yet fully developed, but as you can see here, this is supposed to be a tabletop game, and we will start combining elements like creativity and fantasy of the players of the game. Let's then move on to the UI update. If I enter the recruitment menu, we can see that this is a completely new menu. We follow this paper-like style, which matches pretty well with the idea of a tabletop game. You can choose among the available units, and on the right side you have a view with the details of this unit. We have the stats, which has a pop-up description window, which now is a placeholder, but this will be all over the UI, and the attacks that this unit has, the cost, and of course we have this bar where we can set the amount of units that we want to recruit. Here on the bottom we have a summary page. I'm going to add also some of these range units, and you can see here that we know what are we going to recruit, and also we have the group stats including attacks. On the right side we have a new thing, which is another one of the fundamental gameplay parts of the game, and this is the group formation. The group can be in defensive, aggressive, and mobility, and this has an impact on the stats of the group, as you can see over here. The next update in the UI is in the split menu. Now we can see over here that we can select the different units that we want to split. And again, we have a very similar overview like in the recruitment, but in this case is for the group that is going to be split. We also can see the details, and here on the right we can choose which formation we want them to become after splitting. If we move to the gameplay, we've made two big updates. One of them is adding a new unit. This unit is the tank unit. The tank unit is meant to be used as a protection for the group. It has a new stat, which is the shield, and this shield is going to be consumed before the HP, so it behaves as a way of having a shield for the whole group. This is consumable and can be recovered if you keep your units group in one of your bases after the end of the turn. The next big update has been on the balancing of the combat. Now that we have the fundamentals, we have the group formations, we have the terrains affecting also the stats, and we have other things like the number of units that each group has, one attacker in comparison to the opponent. All these factors together will end up giving you a specific hit chance. Let's take a quick look at what happened between these two groups. We're going to focus just basically on the formation of each of them. On the left side, which is the attacker, we have an aggressive group. And on the right side, we have a defensive group, which is actually the defender in this case. So if we start the combat, we see that the hit chance for both is below 50%. Regardless the number of units. In this case, the defender has higher number of units, but the hit chance still keeps being low. The whole reason is that this is in a defensive formation. Defensive formation mainly try to decrease the hit chance of the opponent and does not have any benefit on your hit chance. So you're basically trying to prevent the opponent to hit you, but you are not trying to be aggressive in a sense to hit the opponent and kill units of the opponent. Let's see what happens if we change now the group formation of the defender. We're going to set it as aggressive. And we are start the battle. Again, now we see that the hit chance is completely different. It's much higher for both of them. Both of them are aggressive and want to hit the opponent. So there's actually no defense here. They are going to lose lots of units. So now here, actually, the attacker has a better chance because it's the first one attacking and it's probably going to defeat several units of the defender, making the attack of the defender being less effective. But we notice also that the hit chance of the defender is a bit higher. Why is the reason? Well, here the main thing that is playing a role is the number of units. We have 2 units more on the defender, which is adding a bit more of courage on this group. It's increasing by 16% the courage and decreasing the courage of the attacker. That's basically the idea of intimidation. The more units you have, the more courage. And courage is actually affecting the hit chance of both by being beneficial for the attacker or negative for the attacker, depending on this on this number. The other important thing to keep in mind in this combat is that we have 6 points of shield for the defender group, which means that this is going to be consumed first. The attacker has a maximum damage of 5, so it's not going to defeat any unit, but is going to decrease the shield by a maximum amount of 5 if everything goes well. Let's see now what is the effect of being in different terrains. Water terrain is the worst terrain you can be. It decreases most of your stats by 50%. So let's see what happens if I start a battle here. Well, you can see that the attacker in this case, which is the one that is in the water, has a very low hit chance of 27%, and the hit chance of the defender in this case is very high. Well, we can see here that the UI is not very well done still, but there are these minus 50 in courage, in accuracy, and in movement. So this is all the stats that are modified because of the terrain. Let's move now our units to the mountain, and let's see what happens when we have our units in a mountain against units that are just in the ground hex. Well, we can see that now the defender is in the mountain and the courage is increased by 40, which is a very high amount here. So the courage of the defender is 100, which is going to increase a lot the hit chance. So if we remember from before, this was lower because of the units. Now the units are also more or less similar, but because of the mountain, we have a very high chance of attacking, of hitting the opponent. And finally, by having your units in a forest, you increase a lot the evasion. As you can see here on the left side, the evasion is 44 for this group, while the evasion for this one is actually 0. So if I start the battle over here, the attacker will have a lower hit chance because the defender is decreasing a lot his probability because due to this evasion difference. And that's everything for this video. I hope I updated you enough. We are aiming to have a playable prototype as soon as possible. It's going to take still probably few months until everything is ready, but the idea is to have few maps for you all to try. There's going to be the multiplayer is going to be disabled for this most likely, and we're going only to have AI you can play with, and the other idea of having a random generation of maps might be already included or not. That will depend on the time, but our focus is that you can play the prototype and you can give us as much feedback as possible, see if you like the idea, if you miss things, and yeah, basically continue developing with all your feedback. That's the most important thing. Thanks all for watching, and yeah, see you next time.